What is up, y'all? Welcome to another Ask Me Anything episode, Santa Cruz Medicinals Radio. Let's rock. I am stoked. It's almost Thanksgiving. By the time you're listening to this, maybe you've already sat down with your family or friends, eaten some turkey. I'm pretty stoked for Thanksgiving overall. I like food. Of course, I do things the healthy way. There's some things I eat, some things I don't eat. But overall, pretty easy to eat some turkey, some sweet potatoes, some greens, maybe even make a healthy version of a pumpkin pie or sweet potato pie. My cranberry sauce recipe is going crazy right now. People are saying it's amazing. I'm just saying. So, yeah, man, pretty stoked on that. And the big thing lately for the brand is we launched our nootropic capsules. This is something it took us a very long time to formulate. And the reason is when you look at all the nootropics on the market, there's some good ones out there, don't get me wrong, but most are just overstimulating from my experience and from many others that we consulted with when formulating this. What does this mean? We're all inundated with short form media, with just being super busy, whatever it is. You got traffic, you got school, you're scrolling, friends are texting you, you're hopping on a game with them. It's just intense, right? And it's all good stuff, or most of it is good stuff. And this just creates this sort of stress based distraction, which I see in a lot of people, and I experience myself being someone who exists in the real world. And so a lot of these nootropics provide this stimulating effect, whether it be with caffeine, whether it be with just overstimulation of these cholinergic receptors in the brain, and you get this almost jittery, wired sensation that some people have grown to crave and love, but really you're gonna like cause long-term harm. And I really don't think it actually focuses people in on a singular task that much. It just makes them feel really jittery and wired, and they think they can focus on something, but they're not actually doing that. So with our nootropic, we wanted something balanced that creates that clean, calm, focused, creative energy. That was the goal. And man, it took us a long time to sort of figure out a good balance of stuff that we can also keep affordable. So we might drop in the future some like black label one that'll be very expensive and like it'll be cool, but I wanted something that can actually be used as a daily driver. So for about 20 bucks you can get this and take it daily, and it doesn't have caffeine, it's not overstimulating, and it's just going to give you that calm, clean energy and focus. I've been taking this formula for months now, and I just take it before I have to lock in on some work. I'm pretty much using them every single weekday. There's been a few weekends where I pop them as well if I'm working on a project or something like that. So yeah, that's how I would use them. You can take them at night. I wouldn't take them right before bed unless you're experimenting around with some like lucid dreaming stuff, because some of this stuff in there like Bacopa has been researched to help with like improving REM sleep, but you're going to get those benefits if you just take it anyway. So really happy with them. And yeah, man, that was a project. And, we take our time with products, as I've said before. And this was one we took our time with. And I'm really proud of it. You take them, you feel them, and they help you get stuff done, which is amazing. So that's been super fun. Lately, I'm just filming a lot of social media stuff and working. We got a little puppy. My wife like found this dog online, and she was like, "I really want this little dog." And I said, "Go get it. Go get that little dog." So we got a new little puppy in the family. He's 4 months old. His name is Leo. He's a small dog. We have to get a small dog because we have Churro, the small dog already, and it's been super fun. Like this dog just runs around the house like crazy. He's so funny, and it's just been cool. Of course, I'm keeping him locked in. Like one little thing you can do for your dogs is red light. If you have a red light device, there is research that it helps dogs. So I do like turn on the red light for him. And people might think that's crazy, but I'm trying to have that dude live to like 25 years old. And other things I am doing for our dogs is giving them a lot of our dog treats. And mainly the main like thing the main reason I'm doing that is the beef heart and beef liver in there. So beef heart has CoQ10, which can benefit your dog's heart health, and beef liver has copper and zinc, which is tremendously beneficial for your dog. So our dog treats are amazing. And if you don't want to get our dog treats, just like you could get some beef heart, you could get some beef liver. My wife will make this like a primal ground, I think that's what it's called, or like a force of nature one that has beef heart and beef liver. She'll make that ground for the dogs and then put it in their food, and that's amazing. So yeah, been stoked on that. Been going to jiu-jitsu, healed up my shoulder, got a shoulder injury like last month and healed it up. I did experiment around with some BPC 157 for that, which we covered in that podcast with Dr. Aboud Bakri. And the reason I had Dr. Aboud Bakri on was to cover a lot of the stuff that's been talked about and popularized by Clav mainly. But it's been a subject that a lot of people have talked about, which is peptides, testosterone, all this type of stuff. And people are like, speak out against peptides, speak out against Clav. And it's like, well, which thing? What peptide? Because like we learned a lot about some peptides with Dr. Aboud, and it's like, Yeah, Retatrutide, that's probably going to be used pretty widely, and like to speak out against GLP-1s, which are peptides. It's like, it's just that's not the way to go about it. Like, which peptide are we talking about? What is the use case? It's just such a varied topic. And then, this dude was just so dialed in with everything. Dr. Abood Bakri is, I mean, he's the man. I mean, even Andrew Huberman commented on our last YouTube episode, like Dr. Abood, I think what did he say is like the calming noise or something. And yeah, he had like a very good words for Dr. Bakri. And you could tell he's like an encyclopedia of information. He's pro peptide and pro hormonal intervention when needed, but he was also a big fan of maxing out your natural potential when you are young. And so, yeah, man, I'm not going to come at this new subject of young people experimenting around with this stuff with just hate and no, you should just be natural. You should never use this stuff ever. Like, I do think you should focus on maximizing out your potential naturally. I don't think it's hard to reach, 800, 900 nanograms per deciliter of testosterone if you just dial in your sleep. You exercise, you keep your body fat low through basic movement and basic nutrition. You don't need to do everything I do. You don't need to take supplements. You don't need to really like. It's not hard to do as an adolescent to get your levels high. But I'm not gonna hop on here and s- just like give some broad recommendation against peptides or against these things because I think each thing is nuanced. Every person's case is different. So yeah, that's kind of my opinion on that stuff. And there's been a lot of interesting stuff kind of coming out of this world. Like yesterday, I saw a discussion between Clav and that dude Myron from Fresh and Fit, and it was a cool discussion. They're doing their thing like in their fields. I don't agree with a lot of what they say. Some what they say I totally agree with, but there's just some weird stuff, bro. Like Myron was saying, I think that he prefers to date 18-year-old to 21-year-old girls, and I don't know, man. Like I'm 33. I got a big friend group of guys in their 30s, and maybe it's just the world that they live in this like Miami lifestyle. But if one of my friends pulled up with an 18-year-old, we would think that's weird. It would be extremely strange. Yeah, if one of my friends pulled up with an 18-year-old, we would think that was very, very strange. Like that would be weird. So I don't know. Like maybe these guys are just existing in like a kind of different world than I, but him saying that, I was kind of like, what? Like, if one of my single friends, if Joe upstairs, like, hey guys, meet, Shelly, and she's 18, we'd be like, what? Like, what is going on here? It'd be crazy, honestly. So, I don't know, guys. I think a lot of the stuff you view on these podcasts and stuff like that, like, it just doesn't happen in the real world out there. So just kind of be careful of that as you get older, you do get a bit wiser. There's also sort of this attitude amongst some of these people where they say like, "Hey, all the health stuff is great, but I don't care about health. Like, I just want to, ascend as fast as possible. I'm totally down to put health to the side, and just like do whatever I can to look good, get girls or whatever the goal is." And I get it. I get where that comes from, man. I can't, if I was 14, 15 and all this stuff was going on, I probably would feel a lot of those same things. But now I can sit here at age 33 telling you right now, you don't want to die at age 40 of a heart attack. Like it happens a lot to these bodybuilders. And no, I'm not saying that just taking testosterone or just using peptides intelligently will cause you to die. But for a lot of this stuff, it involves experimentation. And some people are kind of pushing the boundaries with mixing test, steroids, amphetamines, peptides of all different types. That might not be very favorable for minimizing your risk of something like a myocardial infarction, a heart attack at age 40. And what I can tell you is I definitely don't want to die. My life is great right now. It's fun. You're not going to want to die in your 30s or 40s. And that happens to, we have research with pro bodybuilders. We don't have research with what's going on right now because it's like a new thing. So I would just be careful there. But I get it, man. I get where this comes from. I was insecure at different points in my life. And when I was younger, I don't feel insecure about my looks now. I don't. I don't know. Maybe it's just with growing older. Maybe it's just you get more comfortable with who you are. Um, but like, yeah, man. If you're insecure about your looks and you're in high school, I get it, bro. I was there too. But just be careful. Just be careful. Really do your research on stuff before you do massive pharmacological intervention. Um, so yeah, I'm not gonna come out here and be completely against all this stuff. It would be stupid to be like peptides are bad. I'm on peptides now. I'm on BPC. So, yeah, man, it's a complex issue. But yeah, let's get into some of your guys' questions and dive in. Let's see what's going on in the world of health. First question, Brendan, how can I optimize my circadian rhythm as someone who lives in Norway? During the summer, it is dark all day, and then at night, it is light all day. So they got like a backwards.
Summer it's light all day. Winter it's dark all
Oh,
day.
winter, it's dark all day. Okay, so you're entering a dark season. So the circadian biology stuff is fascinating, and I don't think people realize how important it is. Like we sat here with the doctor of Bood Bakri, testosterone, peptides, talking about all this. He keeps on going back to circadian biology because he's like, well, the problem is if you're like blasting yourself with blue light at night, you're not going to produce optimal levels of testosterone. So it's like very critical. So what I would do if it's very dark all day basically for this guy, I would definitely try to get a red light device. They're not that expensive nowadays. If you look at Huga Health, you can get a small one for like $170, and I would definitely hit that thing in the morning, in the afternoon. And I wouldn't be afraid of blue light during the day. Like even these big lights I have on me right now, it's daytime out, so I'm not too concerned about that. If it was nighttime, I would be very concerned about this. So that's something. Those are some things you can do right there. And then what we've also learned from the circadian biology experts is different things that stimulate cortisol, dopamine, serotonin, adrenaline, norepinephrine can sort of help your circadian biology because you want this cortisol rhythm. Cortisol rises and then it sort of comes down throughout the day. So when you wake up between the hours of, 6 a.m., if you're waking up super early, and I would cut this off by probably around 12 or 1, I would do some type of cold water exposure. And this doesn't have to be an intense cold plunge, guys. No, I'm just saying to get that sort of quick cortisol release. This is going to be a quick turning your shower from hot to cold, which you should do for your skin health and hair health anyway. Get that blast of cold water, and that's going to upregulate some of that norepinephrine, adrenaline, dopamine, and that's going to help your cortisol rhythm. So those two things, get a red light and do some cold exposure in the first half of the day. That's going to help. Brendan, how do you see the role of functional foods like lion's mane, different types of extracts? What else did this guy say?
It's like CBD, nutrient dense animal products, like I guess liver and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
He's talking about CBD stuff like organ extracts. I think is what he's referring to. How do you see these fitting into normal diet? So I'm a huge fan of supplementing with a lot of these things. Now CBD, we did, we had a whole company based around CBD because there is research that it helps with inflammatory pathways, anxiety. The dosage usually needs to be around like 500 milligrams or more orally. It's pretty cool, but it's also very relaxing. So it's something I would take later in the day, and yeah, I mean, Newsom basically made it illegal in California. So now you have to go to like a dispensary to technically get like good, high quality lab tested stuff. Pretty wild decision on the United States of America's part, but whatever. It is what it is. As far as like organs go and stuff like that, I'm a huge fan of them. Desiccated organs are nutrient dense. And when you talk to people like Dr. Justin, they're a huge fan of these organ glandular supplements. And I take them, they're in our food of the gods. So I'm getting some beef liver, beef heart, and colostrum in there. And these are just going to get your body micronutrients that are sort of deficient in our normal diet. Also, a huge fan of stuff like taking some egg yolks, throwing some maple syrup in there, and downing that. So raw egg yolks and maple syrup. People think it's weird. My wife gives me a look when I do it at home, but it's actually just a really good way to get some super bioavailable B vitamins, some choline in there, and it's delicious, I think. So let me know if you agree below. But like, I like that. I really don't mind that. And yeah, I'm a big fan of kind of supplementing my diet with stuff like that. Brendan, what do I do to stop getting sick so often? I'm always tired, always getting sick. So there are a few things you can do right now to benefit your immune system. When we look at supplements, you should be taking vitamin C daily. You can take 2 grams of vitamin C daily, and if you start feeling like you're getting sick, you can actually up that dosage. Some people have done as much as 20 grams per day. I don't recommend going that high, but you can get to like 6 or 7 grams per day, totally fine. Vitamin D is something you should be taking if you're not getting total body sun exposure. And let's be real, in many parts of the United States right now and the world, like you're not even going to be able to get that actual UV exposure to up your vitamin D. So look into a vitamin D supplement. We make one with extra virgin olive oil, extremely affordable, 5,000 IUs for most people per day. When you get sick, you can do higher dosages. Zinc with copper. Zinc has so much research behind it as being beneficial to your immune system. When you balance it with copper, it's going to be amazing for you. So getting that balance, those are some supplements you should take. N-acetylcysteine, we've talked about a lot on this channel. Doing about 500 milligrams to a gram of NAC can help it can help your nose not be stuffy. That's like really cool, but there are also significant benefits for your immune system. And then we get into stuff like sauna. If you can get access to a sauna, I'm a huge fan of that for benefiting your immune function. But when you are getting sick a lot, it can also be something living in your gut. You could do a round of like 2 to 3 weeks of oregano oil. That's a pretty good option for most people. Oregano oil is pretty strong, so I wouldn't go more than 2 or 3 weeks. And sometimes you have fungal overgrowth, SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth in your gut, and it can weaken your immune system. On a deeper level, you can listen to the podcast, Dr. Justin, get a bunch of labs done, but that right there should be a good thing for you to do. Once you start getting sick, like you feel that tickle in your throat, take some echinacea with golden seal, put it in some salt water and gargle that, and then take all those supplements that I just talked about. That's going to help you so much. If you're not doing that, then you should. Brendan, what inspires you to want to get other people healthy? So I have this deep drive and passion for health. It's what I'm obsessed with. And I think finding that thing you're obsessed with in life is super important. What actually drove me to this is my own issues with health. At certain points in my life, I didn't prioritize health. And now I see, looking back, you get wiser as you get older, and you can clearly see how that negatively affected my life, decisions, everything. So I just wish I was more locked in on health when I was younger and knew some stuff about it. And so that's why I try to spread this information with others. And then I also see, I've talked about it many times on my dad's health, how it deteriorated. He struggled with alcoholism. He got very sick and he passed away. And seeing that with my own eyes, I realized, wow, health is so important. He had missed out on time with me, this stuff affects you. And so when I grow older, I don't want that to be the case for myself when I have kids. I want to be around for a long time. So I'm super into doing everything you can do within your means to be healthy so you can have a long, healthy, happy life. And that does come from some pretty basic stuff that I talk about. Of course, there's the more niche stuff that I talk about, but my main message is to eat more real food, learn how to get outside and exercise, dial in your sleep. These things will significantly not only increase your lifespan, but also, more importantly, in my opinion, your health span. So I'm not one of these guys that's trying to do every weird thing to live to 160 years old. I just want to be healthy, happy, and I'm passionate about it. Brendan, what are your thoughts on sleeping on a hard surface versus a mattress? Which is better for your body? So when we went to Liver King's house, he actually had these beds that were pretty hard. Okay, you're talking light mattress on wood. I didn't like those. And there's actually a bunch of research basically to show that you don't want a mattress that's too soft and you don't want one that's too hard. Now, I covered sort of my sleeping position stuff in a video where I like to use a pillow in between my knees to prevent some of that basically staying in an internally rotated position. And then you basically kind of hug a pillow. And if you're wanting to sleep on your side, you can sort of retract that shoulder blade so you're not crushing some of that thoracic outlet right here. Those are like some things you can look into. And then as far as a mattress, if you lie on your back on a mattress, like if you're getting a new one and you immediately feel the need to cross your legs, that can be a sign that mattress is too soft. And if it's too hard, you just kind of won't feel comfortable on your low back and on your side. So I like somewhere in the middle, and I do think that's optimal for most people. Brendan, what are your thoughts on prebiotic soda, Ollie, Pop, Ollie Pop, all these things popping up, man? Look, these prebiotic soda companies are a good alternative to regular soda in most cases. A lot of them are very low in sugar, and I think that's an amazing thing for people's health. Now, as far as the prebiotic side goes of it, like if you have an unhealthy gut and you're putting in a bunch of prebiotics, that can cause issues. And to test this, if you drink one or two of these sodas and you start getting a bunch of gas, you don't feel good, well, that's probably a sign that your gut is unhealthy because these prebiotics are going to basically fuel your and feed your gut bacteria. So for me, I can have some prebiotic fibers and actually feel great. And I do have some prebiotic foods and fibers because it feeds my healthy gut. So if you have some of them and you don't feel good, then yeah, you should probably not have them. But if you feel good, and especially if they're an alternative to like a soda, go for it. Brendan, what are your thoughts on Clavicular's double jaw surgery that he's getting? So I told Clav I don't think he should get this surgery. And I'm going to talk to him. I'm doing a stream with him soon. I feel like many of these guys go down this rabbit hole of male modeling, of facial symmetry and stuff like that. And it's something, honestly, like they get super passionate about and super into. So I totally understand where it comes from, where they start researching these surgeons, they start researching people who have maybe gotten this surgery done. They research male models who are maybe naturally or have had some surgery to get this great jaw is and facial symmetry is what they are talking about. Now there definitely can be risks with these surgeries, and I've seen a lot of people acknowledge it, so I don't think these dudes are just saying that the surgery is completely foolproof or there's no risks. But My overall thing is I wonder if some of these guys have gone so far down the rabbit hole of male modeling, facial symmetry, that they're sort of missing the ball where like that's just not like women might not know about that. There's a wide variety of faces and people that women find attractive. Like you could think of like a actor like Pedro Pascal. Don't women, yeah, like women think like that. He's like a big thing in Narcos. Like, oh, this dude's hot. I don't know the facial symmetry of that dude, but I bet it's not like perfect. What I'm saying is there's a wide variety of faces, face structures that women find attractive, and so I really wonder like, especially with a dude like Clav, who is good looking right now. He has like a good jaw. I don't think he has some deformed jaw. I really wonder the pros and cons of getting a surgery like that in terms of appeasing a woman. Now, if he's doing it to appease other men in the space that he's in, then okay. Yeah, maybe that would be like appealing to them, these dudes that are into male models and that whole world, then maybe they would really see that. But I don't know, man. Like I don't notice it at all. And I know like women do notice these things on like a biological level. But again, they find a wide variety of people genuinely attractive. So I don't think there's like one answer there in terms of what your jaw needs to look like. Then these dudes always bring up some like deformed ass looking dude with like a crazy recessed jaw and be like, what about this dude? It's like, yeah, okay, that guy might need a surgery of some sort. And there's like people that can get airway issues with their jaw being deformed. A lot of this does start from when you're a baby. Like when I have a baby, I'm definitely going to be dialing in a lot of the stuff where you start with basically teaching the baby to nasal breathe, preventing a lot of allergies and immune system issues when they're young, introducing foods that cause, that jaw development. And then a lot of people go, well, my parents didn't do that for me, so I need some interventions. And hey, I get where you're coming from. I do feel that getting into some of the health stuff when I was younger, basic stuff like mouth taping, being able to learn how to nasal breathe, eating, primal foods like chewing steak and stuff like that, developing my masseter bones, reading about the work of Dr. Weston A. Price, vitamin K2, influencing jaw and teeth development. Yeah, man, like that stuff definitely helped my jaw development most likely. But yeah, I don't know. And then like getting a jaw surgery, like I would worry you're getting implants in your face and stuff. Like so, like sports I like to do, like surfing, jujitsu, they'd probably be out of the question for a long, long time, right? See, I don't know. I don't think he needs it, but if he wants to do it to sort of make his community stoked, I mean, it's the United States of America, man. You have freedom. Brendan, what are your thoughts on teens taking peptides? I get this question a lot, and my answer is which ones? Which ones? How intelligent are they? Um, what is the use case? What's going on? Are you a 500-pound teenager who's 17 years old and is going to get on retatrutide and use it intelligently and do some blood work? It's probably a great idea, if I'm being real. Are you 20 pounds overweight and you are lazy and addicted to video games, and really you could go to the gym and walk on the treadmill a bit more, but you just don't feel like it and you want to get on retatrutide? I would probably disagree with that, and I would go the natural way first. So when we talked to Dr. Abood Bakri about something like retatrutide, for example, he's a big fan of it, but he also said he has seen issues of people basically getting addicted to it, or basically having trouble coming off of it. And off the podcast, we talked about it's basically like if you know what to do with your diet, with your exercise and stuff like that, and then you use retatrutide, get to a good weight that you want to be at, and then you feel like coming off of it, the people that he basically said know about their body, know what to do, he doesn't see issues with. The people that have never really fixed their fast food addiction, their addiction to not exercising, their sleep issues, stuff like that, they oftentimes can't go without it. And then there's so many different types of peptides, guys, so it's an impossible question in so many ways. BPC 157 seems to have a pretty good safety profile. There are some doctors that are concerned about it feeding tumors through angiogenesis and feeding cancer basically through angiogenesis, because there are some anti-cancer drugs that inhibit angiogenesis. That's like their mechanism of action. Some people say those drugs don't even work well. So there's a whole complex topic. And yeah, it's too complex to summarize in one post, in one, rant. So it depends which one we're talking about, but I'm definitely not going to be the guy on record being very, very anti-peptide on a broad sense, because I do think they are the future of medicine. But experimenting around with yourself, whew, you better you better really do some research and kind of know what you're getting into, because we also talked with Dr. Aboud about the sourcing of some of these things. Severe issue. There's so much money in it right now that some of these companies are just popping up, putting God knows what, or putting nothing in their peptide vials and in their capsules that they're selling you. And you're taking nothing, or you're taking something that might be potentially damaging. So it's tough. And I do think the FDA is trying to jump in and overregulate it and take control of this stuff because they know it works, right? And I don't want that to happen. So I sort of want, freedom of like an economy there. But right now it is sort of the Wild West. And this was the same case with supplements, I would say 20 years ago. And now lab testing has stepped in. Now it's like getting way better with Amazon's requirements for lab testing. I think the supplement space is getting a lot better. It's more competitive. If you're selling some horrible thing or like nothing in a capsule, like you're gonna get figured out, and you're not gonna be able to sell through channels like Amazon anymore. So yeah, there's risk to it, but I mean, which one are we talking about? I guess would be my question. Brendan, what are the top 3 best things you can do for your health? Now, I'm not going to do a boring answer here of just like sleep, diet, nutrition. I'm going to give you like specific things that you can do. So, number 1, I am going to start with something around sleep, but it is a 10-minute meditation that I do, and it has some guided breathing in there. And I'll have it pop up here. If you just look up like yoga relaxation pose, you'll see it. I'll have it pop up there. All the comments on there, like Santa Cruz sent me here. I do this meditation a lot, and it causes me to be able to slow down my heart rate, get into that rest and digest and relax, just like centered space. I usually do this, after my wife and we eat dinner, we watch a show, we hang out with the dogs, and then I make my whole house like extremely dark, and I do this, and it just sort of sets off my good nightly routine. I do some light stretching. That's going to be better than taking, ashwagandha, which I take in my ashwagandha and sleep caps and magnesium every single night. But like that 10-minute breathing is going to change your life, bro. Like do it. You can do it anytime you don't feel good. It's amazing. And it's not like one of those weird ones where the dude's all like overly hippie on the thing. It's just like direct to the point. I love it. The second thing I'm going to give you is something called FRC and Kin Stretch. This There's so much information on YouTube. If you look up FRC and name a part on you that hurts, shoulder, elbow, knee, hip, there are going to be guided things of the specific movement protocol. And you need to learn this concept of pails and rails that they have. And it's really how you properly stretch and mobilize your body and start to strengthen some of those tissues and ranges of motion. And so I'm always preaching this stuff, man. People get injured at jiu-jitsu, whatever. I'm like, dude, you need to look up FRC knee if they have a knee injury. It's been tremendously beneficial for me, and I need to lock in more on it sometimes. I'm like, okay, I've been traveling. I need to like get back to my routine. That's another thing I'm going to leave you with. The last thing I am going to leave you with are nootropics. And I'm not just going to say take our nootropics, but they're pretty fire. But if you are somebody who's extremely busy and needs to use their brain a lot, you need to understand that there are a cascade of neurotransmitters happening every time you forget a word, you forget something, you're like, oh, I'm that person that's forgetful. Maybe, I mean, hey, we all forget some shit sometimes, but if you're somebody that feels like they're oftentimes forgetful, you should really look into nootropic compounds. And if you want to just start basic, start taking some alpha GPC. Like you can start taking some lion's mane, and you'll quickly notice that you become a little bit less forgetful. Your sentences are able to be formed a bit clearer. I love nootropics. They benefited my life in so many ways, and I feel like they've made me more of a successful person, because a lot of the stuff that we're talking about just in success in life is just mental focus and energy. So look into those 3 things. There you go. Brennan, I struggle with OCD. Are there any things that you could recommend for me naturally? So if you have intense OCD, like it's like very, very intense, you might need some, pharmacological intervention for sure. But if you're just struggling with mild OCD, we can look at a few things. There are papers showing that N-acetylcysteine helps with OCD. This is because N-acetylcysteine's benefits for the brain. So I would definitely be taking about a gram of NAC per day and see how that makes you feel. Another thing you could look into is caffeine timing. For many people, like that are really OCD, you might want to go no caffeine. And I'm not someone who's against caffeine, but basically getting into this overstimulated state can sometimes negatively affect OCD. And the other thing I'll leave for this is all for mild OCD, guys. Keep in mind, I just said that at the beginning. So people saying, I'm turning on the light switch 400 times, like, yeah, this ain't gonna be for you. But people with more mild OCD. The other thing is breathing and meditation and visualization. So being able to control your breath, a simple technique you can do is breathe in for 4 seconds and breathe out for 8. This is going to start to slow your heart rate down and activate some of that parasympathetic nervous system, and it's going to cause more relaxation. So it's very simple to do. Breathe in your nose 4, hold for a second, and then breathe out 8, either through your mouth or through your nose. This is beginning to slow your heart rate. You can do it right now. If you don't know how to do that, I've tried telling people in multiple episodes, but like that can change your life. You feel that anxiety coming on, if someone just cut you off in traffic, and I'm not gonna do the whole thing, but yeah, that's very simple. Brennan, how would you recover from a wrist injury? I sprained mine and it hurts. It's affecting my workouts. So, what I would immediately look into is something called controlled articular rotations. So, this is where you take the wrist and you do basically circles here. Now, this might seem trivial, but I'm not talking just doing like easy circles like this. I'm talking really like back all the way, and then you're going to go here. This is going to help pump some of that synovial fluid into your wrist joint, and that's going to be super beneficial. I would also look into getting some deep tissue. The wrist is actually an area that you can do some deep tissue on yourself. So finding areas that are tight, digging in there and working them, deeply. And yeah, we just talked with Dr. Bakri about BPC 157. You could go that route. I am not an expert in it. You'd have to consult somebody like him on that. But those are some things that might be able to help your wrists. Brennan, I have eczema and I want to increase my protein intake, but I'm concerned about which protein powder to take. Basically, what's going on there? Well, look, you would definitely want to find a protein powder that doesn't have many gums, many preservatives in there, as those can aggravate eczema in some people, as they can aggravate the gut and cause some inflammation there. So you want to look for ones that don't have a lot of these gums. Some protein powders have 4 or 5 gums in there, and really what those are there for the most part, are to make the machines run better, and the protein to be able to maybe mix into water easier. Some of these anti-caking agents can also help do that. So our protein you'll see is gum-free. There's no guar gum. There's no carrageenan. There's no xanthan gum in there. And while I'm not saying these gums are going to throw you off your health cycle or cause some immediate issues, the simple fact is you don't really need them in a protein powder. So finding one without them can be beneficial. If you don't do well with whey, you can look into something like a beef isolate or a collagen protein. And that might also help your skin because those proteins have been shown in some studies to help skin health. So while I'm mostly a fan of whey protein, I'll oftentimes mix our beef isolate protein with a scoop of our whey, and I feel like I get the best of both worlds with that. So yeah, look for a protein with simple ingredients. I mean, we have whey protein that is just one ingredient, our all-natural whey, single ingredient whey protein. Same thing with the beef isolate, our all-natural beef isolate, single ingredient. I would start there, make some shakes with some real frozen fruit, and see how that makes you feel. Why does your vitamin D not have K2? Well, we have a version that is vitamin D with K1 and K2. So we have our vitamin D plus K, and then we have our vitamin D. The reason is I want people to have a variety of options. So many people feel like they get enough K2 in their diet, through egg yolks, through real sources of dairy, stuff like that. So you can get the vitamin D made with extra virgin olive oil, or you can get vitamin D with K1 and K2. So we have both options available. Vitamin K2 is amazing, but some people feel that they get it through their diet, so they can just take vitamin D. It's also more affordable that way. Or they can take vitamin D with K1 and K2. And those are both available on Amazon. They're extremely affordable. We don't put soybean oil in there. We put extra virgin olive oil, and they're in glass packaging. So lock in and take your vitamin D. All right, guys, that is it for this week's episode. I appreciate you guys so much. You can go on santacruzpaleo.com. The code Black Friday will be live for a little bit longer. Enter that at checkout, website only. And we are running some deals on Amazon. They will go fast. So type in Santa Cruz Paleo into Amazon, get some goodies, get some dog treats for your dog as a gift, you got to get your dog something. Our products make amazing gifts. So anybody who is trying to be healthy in your family, going to the gym, you can get them some electrolytes, some protein powder. You can get them some deep sleep capsules. Sleep capsules, right? We got some company tried to sue us for deep sleep. Sleep capsules, some basics like magnesium, vitamin D, creatine, stuff like that. And just, stay healthy. Protein bars should launch in I'm gonna say February, late February. Let's go with that. And I'm really stoked on our protein bars. Real food protein bar, 20 grams of protein. Most of that protein is going to be coming from grass-fed whey isolate, and then we also have some grass-fed collagen in there. We are not going to go the route of throwing milk protein isolate or soy protein isolate like so many companies do. It's going to be completely real food based. They taste delicious. The texture is amazing. and they're going to be priced better than any other real food protein bar out there. I'm stoked for those. Stay tuned. Appreciate you guys so much. Leave your questions for next week's episode. Peace. Later.